Good morning, everybody. Today is the 26th of October, 2017. It is Thursday. It is a solar day for me, and I guess today is purple or white. Violet to white, as the frequency goes. Frequency energy. So what I wanted to say today, I had a really great day so far. I've been up for about an hour. Been doing some work, helping people get off to work and that sort of thing. And interestingly enough, today I smudged for the first time. And I'll tell you why. As I was making eggs, you know, I scrambled them right. I put them in the microwave like I always do for the exact amount of minutes, 2 minutes on high, to make scrambled eggs quickly because I have to. I don't have a lot of time when I wake up and have to get everything going. And I found that the eggs were not congealed. They were watery and, you know, clumpy and everything. So, oh my goodness, after listening to Sergio Magana, who is a healer and a shaman from Mexico, he mentioned the fact that curanderos would, or healers from Mexico, would often take an egg and go around the aura of the person. And then they would go secretly to a place where they'd open the egg and look at the yolk and see how, like scrying, I guess, or obsidian mirror type of visionary work, look at the egg and see what's going on a soul level, single cell soul, and whether there are any, I think, entity attachments or spirit attachments to that person of the intended egg. Well, I thought at that point that the person that I was feeding the eggs to had something wrong with spirit attachments. So yesterday at a health food mart, I bought a smudge stick. And yes, it was very expensive. White sage cost me about $15. I think I kind of got ripped off, but you know, it's expensive in stores. I'm sure if I went to the native healing places, I'd get it a lot cheaper. Maybe not. Who knows? Probably for free. But I'd always wanted to know what it was like because I love the smell of sage. When we were coming back from northern Michigan, upper Michigan, where we believe that is the Hiawatha area of the natives, the happy hunting ground because there's so many deers there. And if you go towards the bridge between Wisconsin, which we're trying to do, and Michigan, you'll find that there's so many deers you can't even drive down that road. You have to like wait for the deers to cross, and they're jumping everywhere. There's that many deers. So we decided not to go to Wisconsin. Anyway, as we're going to lower Michigan, around I think it was around one of the places, I'm thinking not Grand Rapids, but around Grayling or something like that, there was a hunger. We were very hungry, and so we stopped in at Subway, and it was near Thanksgiving, which is for us the second week in October in Canada, and I sensed the smell of sage, and it just made me so ravenously hungry. It was unreal. So today, when I smelt the sage, it's reminding me of sage, basically what you cook at turkey time, at Thanksgiving, yes, at Thanksgiving, to make a wonderful meal. Now, I often wondered, why sage? Why is it that particular frequency fragrance? Well, sage has antiseptic qualities, antiviral, and antibacterial qualities. Just like oregano, and I'm looking for essence of oregano oil, you know, because that's a great thing for flu season, rather than getting the flu shot, which has still thimerosal in it at very high doses for seniors and people who are vulnerable, and it causes, I believe, Alzheimer's. They might find that in a few million years when they're honest about things, because listening to a program yesterday on a doctor who went to Einstein University. I can't remember her name right now, but I'll link it below. The amazing video about the problem is that the system needs to be flipped. The pyramidal scheme of pharmaceutical megapolies, not monopolies, they're maniacal monopolies of mega proportion. So these drug institutes, drug quote unquote, that are supposed to help people are not. In fact, they keep us enslaved, and they do horrible things to us. And messing with the GMO, like I was mentioning yesterday in my tape, my video, it really is a frightening thing. So anyway, about the sage, getting back to the puring of the air and the frequency purification that is required. Everything is frequency, and if you look at frequency in its terms of what was once and still is holy, the pine, the sage, the various dandelion, that has a certain intense frequency range of solar proportion that it takes in and develops this matrix, perhaps a Mandela effect of the surround sound frequency that we need. So when I saged my son today, when I did the sage, I don't know the full impact of the ritual behind it, but I did it for the first time and realized that the scent alone was so invigorating and renewing, and it was well worth the price, believe me. And I was worried it would catch fire, and I was worried how to put out the fire, but it just smokes basically. And the beautiful, it reminded me of incense and frankincense when we were at Mass as Roman Catholics, as children growing up. And the smell of frankincense is also supposedly a healthy herb, or whatever it is, mineral, which is anti-aging. So this frequency keeps us in the range where we don't start to decompose. Also, Buddhists use, and I was interested to note that Buddhists also use sage sticks, and I thought it was frankincense they would use, but they're using sage as well. So this is a worldwide panoply of information which transcends space and time and deals with, we know this to be true as a humanity. So when I took the sage and I realized my own lineage, it was creating in me this amazing, I feel like I'm floating right now, let's put it that way. I feel like I don't have legs. I feel like I'm floating like I do in my dreams that we're supposed to be doing. Why we're stuck in 3D dimension when we're supposed to be in 5D and free, because of the archons and that sort of thing. So the reptilian race and the Babylonians from the time of Sumer and the time of the reptilian types of, now whether or not they're using us as slave race, and still to this day, and using black goo, which is oil perhaps, from the time of Rockefeller, who monopolized oil and the pharmaceutical industry to basically, and he also started the eugenics program of destroying humanity because they only want their kind, the reptilian type, to be the leaders. So the elite leaders are reptilian race, perhaps. If this makes sense, because humanity would not eat itself. It would make no sense for us to kill one another, because it always comes back. If you look at the law of karma, what you put out comes back. So everyone knows that. So their little idea of predictive programming, whereby they can tell us things in certain codes and symbols in newspapers that we just, our subconscious doesn't pick up on, but maybe it does. Some of us are getting wise to it and are understanding predictive programming, so they don't get the karma. But we're giving them the karma back because we're shining the mirror of their karmatic, trying to deflect from themselves their intent, which is of no good purpose and needs to be eradicated, because this is destroying humanity. The GMO products are destroying humanity. This is done on purpose. The autistic rises in cases and in cancer cases worldwide, and the destruction of the planet, not from overpopulation, although some groups of people are deliberately overpopulating for control purposes. However, most people today and in North America have below average replacement rate for population, so that doesn't make sense that we're overpopulated. Only in certain areas of the world where they're trying to believe that overpopulation creates power, which it doesn't, if you can see that. And also they're ancient and they've been overpopulating for a while, but nonetheless, our bodies have been used for slavitude, for slaves, and we've been manipulated, our DNA, so we cannot produce children anymore. A lot of people are having a lot of difficulty, and costs lots of money to make children so they can claw back the money, which is just currency. It's just made to make things work. When it hasn't been working, you have to question the validity of the process and of the structure and of the system. The system needs to be definitely accountable, and it must be made accountable, and that's a democracy. To question? If you can no longer question, you're no longer in a democracy, so what are you in? If the questions don't get answered, you have to think something else is going on. If logic does not exist, something else is going on. It's frustrating when you cannot stop the wheels in progress to our own destruction, when you think we might not ascend, because if we're destroyed before we ascend, and if they're keeping us from the fifth dimension for a reason, whether we're in some form of limbo or purgatory or what have you, we definitely need to realize that more than half is bad here now. We are reaching critical mass, and unless we start to get wise to this, we're all lost, because we're all linked together. We're one mind having a dream that needs to ascend into a world that can exist in perpetuity and delight and heavenly bliss. We're not supposed to experience anything that is not us, and this duality is not us. So why are we locked into it? Question. We need to get the frequency right, people. I hope that CERN, who has the technology, can work on the frequency theory, because that is the savior for humanity, as well as the return of the divine love that is our center. Please stay centered. Love you. Take care. Bye-bye.